Heading up to the beautiful winery right now. I want to take a look at what's happening inside those wine barrels. Hey there, winos! This is Uncorked, the series where we do a deep dive into specific wine topics. And today, we're gonna deep dive into wine barrels. We're gonna deep dive into wine barrels. That does sound fun. I have a problem. Have you ever wondered, why is wine put in barrels? You know, oak barrels and wine have been synonymous with each other for the last 2 millennia, but how is that even relevant today? Is it still relevant today, and what does it even do for wine? We're gonna find out that and more behind door number 1. Hey, thanks for joining me. And before we get started today, if you want to be a Winoceros, hit that subscribe button to become a wino today. I'm going to put out new videos every single week, so hit the bell button as well so that you can stay notified for more great wine content. Welcome to the Wine Cave! Right now we are standing 40 feet underground beneath the beautiful Byington Winery. And I apologize if it's a little echoey in here. I'm in a cave. We are in a perfect condition for oak barrels. And as a matter of fact, we've got a scorching hot day outside, but I can't tell in here because it's about 68, 67 degrees in here, and it's gonna be that way year round. Night and day, summer, winter, 365 days a year, and it's not a temperature controlled space. This is just natural from being underground. In here, there is no natural sunlight. There is no movement outside of a natural earthquake, and there's no temperature fluctuation in here either. So why, after 2 millennia, are we still using oak barrels to make wine? Well, it's going to come down to 2 reasons, and the first is going to be flavor. Of course, wine is going to take lots of flavor from oak barrels. From oak, you get flavors of cedar, sandalwood, cigar box, smoke, leather, dill, fennel, chocolate, toffee, mocha. Now, flavors that are more like fruit and jam and citrus and orchard fruit and tropical fruit, all of that comes from the grape itself. Flavors that are like salt and mineral and earthiness, florals, all of those are gonna come from the earth. But anything that's sort of toasty is gonna come from the barrel itself. Now, there are 4 types of barrels that are commonly used, or I should say 4 types of oak, and those are gonna be vanilla, vanilla. Now, with each different type of oak, you're gonna have a different flavor profile. French oak is gonna give you more of those vanillas, those really soft and creamy elements. American oak is gonna give you a little bit more of those sort of like barbecue and sort of maybe dill, but it can also do different things to your wine. French oak is really soft, so it's really good for a really soft wine. Think Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir and French oak, mwah, gorgeous together. They're gonna complement each other very well. But if you have a very big wine, like a big California Cabernet Sauvignon, well, at this point, you want something that's gonna really soften those tannins. So it needs a stronger oak to hold up to, and at this point, you might want something more like American oak. Now, in addition to different flavors from different types of oak, you're also gonna get a different grade of oak that's gonna impact the flavor pretty significantly. Every single one of these barrels has been charred on the inside. They've all seen fire. A cooper, or a barrel maker, will char the inside of that barrel at his cooperage. And fun fact of the day, that's where the name cooper actually comes from. That is how they get that toasty flavor. And depending on the intensity of that fire, the more intense flavors you're gonna get. Check out this barrel. You'll see the little M+ right here. Well, that stands for medium toast. You might see M+, H+, or L+, and that stands for medium toast, light toast, or heavy toast. The lighter the toast, the more soft flavors you're gonna get out of that barrel. The heavier the toast, the more intense flavors you're gonna get out of that oak barrel. So there's a lot of flavor in this bad boy. But how long is that flavor gonna last? Or actually, how long can you reuse the barrels, or how many times can you reuse the barrels when they look like this before they look like this? So ugly. Well, actually, barrels can be used again and again and again, indefinitely, until they start to fall apart and basically can't hold wine anymore. At which point you probably chop it up and turn it into something really cool like a chair or tabletop or some kind of decoration. But here's the thing, after about the third use, those barrels become what we call neutral oak. These are barrels that no longer have any flavor left to offer. And as a matter of fact, that's kind of sought after in a lot of wineries. High-end producers these days are going after neutral oak barrels. It is not 1990. Everything does not have to taste like butter and oak and vanilla and toast. Wineries care about this little thing called terroir. That's their sense of place. It's their wine growing region. So a high-end producer doesn't want to mask all that beautiful terroir or their sense of place and all the incredible characteristics and natural elements and flavor profile of their wine growing region by adding so much oak, by masking all of that and covering all of that with expensive new oak just so it can taste like vanilla. Which begs the question, if you're not going to use oak for flavor, why even use oak at all? And that actually brings us to point number 2. Oak is used for maturity, or to mature the wine inside the barrel. What's actually happening inside here? Well, what happens is, as the wine is in barrel, it's actually breathing. Just like you and I, wine has to breathe. Now, the oak is just porous enough to allow trace amounts of oxygen into the barrel. So it's breathing in oxygen and it's volatilizing the esters. A really fancy way of saying that it's making it smell good. The wine is taking on more complexity as it interacts with oxygen. The issue is you don't want it to take on too much oxygen or the wine will vinify. It'll become vinegar and spoil really quickly. The beauty of oak is that it's gonna allow the wine to interact with just a small amount of oxygen through the pores of the staves on the barrel. But just as wine has to inhale, it also has to exhale. And in fact, it's exhaling H2O. It's exhaling natural water that was inside of the grape. And so it's making a more concentrated beverage on the inside. Well, here's the problem with that. As the barrel is exhaling water, the amount of wine on the inside starts to go down and down and down. Well, this is a problem because, again, that's going to leave a big hole right here, a big air gap where oxygen can get trapped and now start to spoil your wine. So how do you combat that? Well, now you have to go in and you have to designate one of your barrels as a topping barrel. From that barrel, you're going to fill the rest of your barrels all the way back up to the top. Now, this happens usually about once every 3 weeks to fill for that evaporated space. You're going to know that your wine barrel is full to the top because when you put the bung in, a little bit should spill over, and that's actually why barrels are usually stained red. They call that the angel's share. Well, the evaporated part is the angel's share, not the spilled part on the floor. That demon's share? I don't think that's a thing. This little contraption here is called the thief, and it's used to steal wine from out of the barrel. It kind of works like, you know, when you were a kid and you put your thumb over the top of a straw and you put it in your soda or something and enjoy a nice little waterfall. It's basically the alcoholic adult version of that. Oh, yeah. Come to Daddy. Papa needs his medicine. Go away. So these barrels are going to be here in the wine cave for the next 12 to 24 months as the wine slowly matures over time. A really soft wine or a white wine might only take about 6 months to actually reach its full maturity. Something really heavy, again like a Cab Sauv or Cab Franc or Merlot, something that has a lot of tannin and needs time to soften out, is going to take that time in barrel, somewhere between 12 months and 24 months. Then there are some regions that allow for or require the wine to be in barrel for upwards of 4 years in order to hit a certain quality level. Now, it's not necessary that the longer time in oak, the more quality you'll get. As a matter of fact, once again, too much oxygen interaction can actually kill your wine. So it's really up to the winemaker to get the best out of that wine that they can. They're going to taste it. They should be tasting it pretty regularly. In fact, maybe once every 3 weeks at least, they should be tasting them along the way to see how's it doing? How's she hanging? Is she getting better? Is she taking on more and more flavor, or is it going to start to turn over at this point, and is it ready to bottle? Whew! It's bright out here. All right, well, that was a lot of fun being inside the wine cave, and I hope that today we got an idea of why oak barrels are still in use after 2 millennia. One, flavor. You're just not going to get that sort of flavor profile on anything mechanical or machine-like. Now, you can cut corners and add, little oak-flavored chips inside the wine, but that's really not going to do much for the second reason that wine is an oak, which is the wine has to breathe. Only by being inside an actual oak barrel for that certain amount of time, between 12 and 24 months, are you going to get that amazing flavor. So if you guys enjoyed what you watched today, please leave me a like. That helps a lot, and make sure to share this with your wine friends. And until next time, winos, drink safe and drink well. So I forgot to record myself walking up to the winery and walking up to the building. It is freezing. I'm in my shorts and everything that I was wearing yesterday. It was like 90 degrees yesterday. I'm so cold.